There's a whole lot of talking going on. How about more action? How about more execution? How about more paying prices for what your mouth is saying? That is what I hope you do.
Do you have the courage to act outwardly on what you see inwardly? Or will you die a dreamer? Will you die on the verge and on the edge and in the land of coulda, woulda, and shoulda?
You get one shot at this gig right here. Life. One life. That's all you've got. And regret, in and of itself, it's worthless. It does nothing for you. In fact, the only valuable thing in regret is the lesson you learned. The knowledge that you gained. But walking around filled with regret gets you nothing.
You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Because believing that the dots will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path. And that will make all the difference.
The people who became the most successful in our society are people who broke the rules. You know, there was no presidents for 24-hour news cycles until Ted Turner did it. There's so many people who got out of the box. Look at Apple and the birth of the whole notion of Apple, or Nike, I talk about in the book, and the birthing of that corporation, how they did something with the tennis shoe that had never been done before. If you only base your decisions on empirical data, you can only repeat what somebody else already did. If you follow your instincts and your own God-given creativity, we can go where we have not been before.
The reason you're here is because there's something in you that says, I can do more. This just can't be it. There's something in you. There's a calling on your life. There's something in your heart that caused you to get dressed and spend the money to go to seminar after seminar and listen to message after message and speaker after speaker. Because there's something in you that tells you this is not it for you. You have not peaked here. There's more in you that you are expressing. Eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor has entered the heart of mankind what's in store for you if you challenge yourself, if you persist and persevere, if you take ownership for your life. George Bernard Shaw said the people that make it in this life, they look around for the circumstances that they want, and if they can't find them, they create them.
If you have a life and you don't, utilize it and you settle for just being average, then that's a waste of the gift of life. And it's never the smartest, it's the person who runs the hardest and who doesn't quit that wins. Because I feel like there's a red thread that connects every single thing on this planet. The human experience is a shared experience. Whether you love gardening, whether you love physics and finance, or whether you love art and fashion, there's something about those things that exist in a way that's consistent. I think we've over-indexed on celebrating mastery, and we've under-indexed on celebrating discovery and what you get through play and failure. Because failure is a gift, because you learn what you don't know at that point. And so in our household, we say either we win or we learn. There's no such thing as losing. You only lose when you stop trying. So as long as you keep trying, you won't lose, you'll be further than where you started. But also acknowledge that change is part of life. You grow up, you leave home, you change addresses, you change jobs. Change is a constant theme in our existence. The sooner you become comfortable with that concept, you're free at that point, because you're open, as you say, to letting the universe, letting whatever it is you pray to or believe in, divinely inspire you and guide you in a way that forces you to remember that it's not about you. It's not about you. This moment isn't happening by you, it's happening through you.
The number one thing that you guys need to understand, you fucking lack patience. Too many of you talk about being it, but you're not living it. You wanna be about patience and hustle. It's fun to say, to me, it's fun to tweet that you're a fucking entrepreneur. It's a lot harder to bleed 15 hours a day, every day for 15 years. I get why you don't wanna do it. And it comes from insecurity. You're worried. You know why you guys aren't patient? The reason you're impatient is it's more because people are telling you you can't. You decide to do your own thing, and now you're on the clock and everybody's watching, and your grandma's telling you should have stayed in school. You need to be shit on in your 20s and 30s so that you can fucking clown on people in your 40s and tell them I fucking told you. You understand? And the best part is you gotta love the fucking losses. And that is the fundamental difference. And you've gotta understand that all the things that you want, of course they should be hard. Let me tell you what you should focus on. A, you need to do some shit you like. Because if you don't, you will be outworked by somebody who loves that thing and they will beat you. That's the problem. If you don't love it, somebody will beat you because they love it, and that means they'll work 18 hours a day because you fucking love it, and you're working 11 because you like the money that comes along with it. Or 8, or supposed to be working 10, but it's really 4, and you're bullshitting and watching YouTube for 6. And so, in life, you have two situations, binary, and they're both winning formulas or they're losing formulas, and they start the same way. You were born, and you were either born with too much because your parents are rich and they got shit, like my kids, or you're born with too little, the way I was born in a fucking piece of shit house in Belarus in Russia, right? That's it. You're either born with too much or too little, and both are strengths and weaknesses. Your fucking mindset decides it. Let's just get to the punchline. Nobody gives a fuck about your problems. Nobody gives a fuck about your problems. And so I need people to get to that place so that it gives you the courage to actually start doing shit. The only way you're gonna get the thing that's been running through your mind, the only way you're gonna get on that plane that you think you wanna be on when you were sitting downstairs eating french fries with your homie and chopping it up and saying what we're gonna be in 7 years, is if you fucking outwork everybody, figure out what you're good at, bring value to the people you're trying to sell, and just rinse and repeat forever till the end. Everybody looks at the people that made it, and none of you looked at how they got there. Simple as that.
Do you have the courage? I'm going to drop something on you. It takes courage to be successful. It is far easier not to be successful. Misery will always have company. Success breeds contempt. If you don't want to make waves, be mediocre. Be normal and fit in. And if you're more concerned about people than you are God, then neutralize everything He put in you. Just fit in with everybody else. Dress like them, walk like them, act like them, eat like them, go where they go, think like they think, do what they do. And once you've neutralized your uniqueness, you don't need courage. It takes courage to be different. It takes courage to go where you've never gone before. For some of you, it took courage to come to this conference. It takes courage to get you outside of the bar. It takes courage to be successful. It takes courage to win. Do you have the courage to stand there though the storms keep raging and the people get to talking and you stand there and say, I've come too far to turn around?
Getting better is a campaign. It's a campaign. It's a daily, a weekly, it's an hourly fight. An incessant fight that doesn't stop against weakness and against temptation and against laziness. It's a campaign of discipline. A campaign of hard work and dedication. It's waking up early and going to bed late and grinding out every second in between. Every single day.
The most powerful tool that you have right now in your life, in your body, is your mind. And your mind is so strong and so powerful that the Bible said it is with the mind that we serve the Lord. That's why the enemy fights you in your mind. He fights you in your mind. For as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. The devil doesn't have to tie you up for you to be bound. He just has to tie up your head with stress, with worry, with aggravation, with low self-esteem, with pettiness, with anger, with hostility, with rebellion. And he can make you physically sick because your mind is sick. But somebody in here tonight is about to get a miracle in your head.
You look at your life, you look at what you produce. Is it giving you what you want? Are you living on purpose? Are you living your dream? Are you acting on your ideas? Are you doing all you can do? Have you gotten comfortable? Are you procrastinating? Are you evading your own greatness? Are you surrounding yourself with people that can nourish you? Are you challenging yourself? Are you experimenting? Are you learning something different? Is your life an adventure or is it boring? Where have you been? Why are you here? What brought you here? Investing the time, the money. What brought you here? And where are you going? What is it that you can get out of this session, out of this lecture? That when you leave here, rather than this just being a spectator event, that you got some idea, some dream, that you might have to go back and brush it off and look at it again and say, I've got to do this. This is my stuff. This is what I'm supposed to do. As you go through the challenges of life and you look at it and embrace whatever comes to you, don't run from it. Step toward it. Don't try and duck it like most people do. See, most people want it easy. See, easy come, easy what? Easy go. See, but when you go at what you're going to deal with and you deal with the difficulties of it, when you handle those hard things close at hand, making those hard decisions right now that you don't want to make, learning those things that you don't like to do, but you know that in order for you to get where you want to go, this is one of the hoops that you have to flip through. And I'm saying to you, whatever you got to do it, because if you don't, life is going to whoop you until you surrender.
The only thing that can trump your DNA, the only thing that is controllable, if you want it, if you want this, is work, is work, is work, is work.
Be strong and very courageous. Be strong and very courageous. Be strong and be of good courage. Be strong and possess the land. Because God knows that for what you're going to do, it is not by our strength.
Like life is really, really short. And I think that we don't value and appreciate, our freedoms and our opportunities in our life. There are gonna always be obstacles. You're gonna have to either go around them, go over them, or go right through them. But you can't stop going.
You have to fix the mind before you can bestow the blessing, because until they get their mind right, everything you invest in them is going to leak out of the crevices of a mind that refuses to change. Dump out all jealousy, all pettiness, all unforgiveness, all strife, all malice, all confusion, all blaming other people for your mistake. You got till midnight to get rid of every poison that's hindering you, every inflexibility that's stopping you from what God is about to pour into your life. Woe be unto you if you go into another year and waste another year with the old mentality while somebody's in the hospital begging God for the opportunity that you have right now. Right now.